All right, so everyone knows about yin and yang, right? But today we're going deep. Like, how do these ancient concepts actually impact your energy and well-being?
hmm
We're looking at the Yellow Emperor's classic of internal medicine.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of the ultimate guide to Chinese medicine and philosophy.
That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and what's so cool about this is it's not just some dry textbook.
right.
It's actually written as a
Oh,
conversation
really?
between the Yellow Emperor and his physician, Kibo.
Interesting.
So it makes it surprisingly engaging.
Yeah, like you're eavesdropping on a really important chat. And
Exactly.
they get right to the heart of it. They're
Yeah.
like, if our blood and ki were perfectly unified,
Mhm.
wouldn't we all be in perfect health?
Right, and that's where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Kibo's answer isn't about achieving some impossible state of perfection.
Oh, okay.
He says there's always disorder,
Uh-oh.
both within us and in the world around us.
Hmm.
That's just reality.
So you're saying perfect health is unattainable?
Not exactly. It's more about understanding how to manage that inherent disorder. That's where yin and yang come in.
Okay.
They provide a framework for understanding these constantly shifting energies and working with them.
So less about eliminating disorder and more about finding balance.
Exactly. And to understand that balance, we need to unpack what yin and yang actually represent.
Okay.
In this context, Kibo describes yin as being associated with pure qi,
Mm-hmm.
while yang is linked to turbid qi.
Okay, so pure and turbid.
It.
What do those terms mean when we're talking about energy?
Well, think of it this way. Pure qi is light and clear,
Okay.
like the air you breathe in.
Okay.
Turbid qi is heavier and denser,
Mm-hmm.
like the food you digest.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So is there like a constant back and forth between these two?
Absolutely. The text actually describes it beautifully.
Oh, yeah.
Turbid qi, which contains some purity,
Okay.
naturally rises upward. Pure qi, containing some turbidity, descends.
Wow.
It's a continuous dance of integration and balance.
I never thought of it that way. So what does that actually mean for us? Like, how can we use this knowledge to improve our health?
Well, think about your breath.
Okay.
You inhale fresh, pure air and exhale what your body doesn't need. It's a constant exchange, just like the interplay of pure and turbid qi throughout your system.
That's a great way to visualize it.
Yeah.
So if this exchange is always happening, what causes ki to become disordered?
Disordered qi, or luan qi, happens when these forces get out of whack, when that natural flow is disrupted.
Okay, so our bodies are like these intricate landscapes of ki constantly flowing and shifting. The text even mentions specific organs, right?
You're right. The lungs are associated with purity, taking in clear qi with each breath. The stomach, on the other hand, deals with the turbid qi from digesting food.
Wait, so the stomach is all about turbid ki, but earlier it said turbid ki containing purity rises from the stomach.
Ah, you're picking up on a crucial detail.
Okay.
It's not that one organ is purely yin or yang, each contains elements of both. The stomach's pure qi rises up to the mouth. Think about the breath you exhale, while the lungs send some of their turbid qi down into the body's energy reservoirs.
Whoa, so the lungs and stomach are almost swapping energies. That makes me think of breathing exercises in yoga or meditation.
Right.
It's like we're consciously influencing this balance.
Exactly. You're already connecting this ancient wisdom to practices that are relevant today.
Nice. And that's just the beginning. The text goes even deeper, exploring a complex network of energy pathways called meridians.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got yin-yang, pure turbid. Now things are getting more complex with these meridians. What exactly are they?
The meridians are like rivers of energy that flow through the body, connecting different organs and systems. And just like with the organs themselves, each meridian has its own unique balance of yin and yang.
That's a lot to visualize. Is there a way to think about these meridians without getting bogged down in the anatomy?
Absolutely. Imagine them as a hidden network that supports your overall well-being. They influence everything from your physical health to your emotional state.
So these energy pathways are kind of like the behind-the-scenes players in our overall health?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the text gets really specific about them. The Yellow Emperor even asks, if all yang is considered turbid, why is one yang meridian even more turbid than the others?
Ooh, that's a good question. What's the answer?
Kibo explains that the small intestine meridian receives the most turbid yang, while the lung meridian receives the clearest yin.
So even within the yang meridians, there are degrees of turbidity. And how does that affect us?
It's all about balance. If one meridian has an excess of turbidity, it can disrupt the flow of qi throughout the entire system. This can manifest in various ways like digestive issues if the small intestine meridian is blocked, or respiratory problems if the lung meridian is out of whack.
This is starting to sound like the foundation of traditional Chinese medicine. Am I on the right track?
You absolutely are. The concepts laid out in the Yellow Emperor's Classic are still at the heart of TCM practices like acupuncture and herbal medicine.
That's incredible. It really shows how this ancient wisdom continues to be relevant even today.
Precisely. And we've only just scratched the surface of what this text has to offer. There's so much more to explore.
Okay.
We'll have to save that for another time.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll dive even deeper into these fascinating concepts. Stay tuned. So we were talking about these meridians, these rivers of energy flowing through us, each with their own yin-yang balance. It's amazing to think that ancient healers mapped all of this out.
It is truly remarkable. And you know what's even more fascinating?
What's that?
They didn't just map it out.
Right.
They developed techniques
All
to
right.
work with these energies, to restore balance and promote healing.
Right, like acupuncture.
Exactly.
We talked about it a little bit before. It's
Yeah.
almost like a super precise energy tune-up.
Exactly. And the text actually goes into detail about how different techniques are used,
Oh.
depending on whether you're working with a yin meridian or a yang meridian.
So it's not like a one-size-fits-all approach.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Remember, yin and yang have very different qualities. Yin is about stillness, receptivity going inward. Yang is about movement, expression, outward energy.
And the acupuncture techniques reflect these qualities.
Precisely. For yin meridians, the needles are inserted deeply and retained for a while,
Oh, okay.
mirroring that slower, more inward energy.
Mm-hmm.
For yang meridians, it's a shallow insertion with a quick withdrawal,
Oh, interesting.
almost like you're giving the energy a little nudge
Okay.
to get it moving.
It makes a lot of sense. It's like the technique itself is working with the natural flow.
Exactly. And this principle of working with the body's natural energy
Mm-hmm.
is something that we see again and again in traditional Chinese medicine.
Okay, this is all incredibly insightful, but I have to ask, what does all this talk of yin-yang and qi actually mean for us in our daily lives?
Yeah.
Like, how can we apply this ancient wisdom to actually feel better today?
Like $1 million question.
Right, yeah.
And the beauty is that this wisdom provides a framework for understanding not just our physical health, but also our emotional and mental well-being.
So it's about more than just treating specific symptoms. It's about cultivating overall well-being.
Absolutely. Think of it this way. If you're feeling sluggish, low energy, maybe a bit withdrawn,
Okay.
that could be a sign of excess yin.
Interesting.
You might need to incorporate more yang activities
Okay.
into your life to bring things back into balance.
So like getting some exercise, spending time in nature, being more social, that sort of thing.
Exactly. Things that get your energy moving and help you feel more connected to the world around you.
Mm-hmm. And on the flip side, if someone's feeling anxious, overstimulated, having trouble sleeping,
Yeah,
that could point to too much yang.
you got it.
Yeah.
In those cases, incorporating more yin practices could be beneficial.
Oh, okay.
Things like meditation, gentle yoga, listening to calming music,
Mm-hmm.
or just spending some quiet time alone.
It's like finding that sweet spot, that dynamic equilibrium between the two forces.
Right.
And it sounds like that balance point is going to be different for everyone.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah.
unique to each individual and can even change throughout the day or the week, depending on what's going on in your life.
This is giving me a whole new perspective on self-care.
Yeah.
Instead of just randomly trying different things, we can actually start to tune into our own internal energy
Right.
and make choices that support our well-being.
That's the power of this ancient wisdom.
Awesome.
It's about becoming more attuned to those subtle cues
Mm-hmm.
your body is giving you. And it's not just about what you do,
Oh, okay.
but also about how you approach those activities.
What do you mean?
Well, think about something like exercise. You could approach it from a very yang place, pushing yourself hard,
Okay.
focusing on results,
Yeah.
maybe even feeling a bit competitive. Or you could approach it from a more yin place, focusing on mindful movement, enjoying the sensations in your body,
Interesting.
finding a sense of peace and calm.
Mm-hmm.
Both are beneficial, but they will have very different effects on your overall energy.
That's a great point. So it's not just about the activity itself, but about the energy we bring to it.
Exactly. And that's where the real magic happens.
Yeah.
When we start to become conscious of our own internal state
Okay.
and how it interacts with the world around us.
This is all so fascinating, but I have to admit, some of it still feels a bit abstract. Are there any tangible ways that we can actually sense this inkai flowing within us?
That's a great question, and the answer is a resounding yes.
Oh, good.
One of the simplest and most effective ways is through your breath.
Okay.
Notice the natural rhythm of your inhales and exhales, the coolness of the air as you breathe in.
Mm-hmm.
That's yin. The gentle warmth as you breathe out. That's yang.
Wow, I never really paid attention to the temperature of my breath before.
It's such a simple yet powerful way to connect with your Kai. You can also pay attention to your energy levels throughout the day. Are there times when you feel more energized and outgoing? That's your yang Kai expressing itself. Times when you feel more introspective and calm. That's your yin Kai taking center stage.
This is like having a whole new language for understanding ourselves. I'm already starting to notice these subtle shifts in my own energy.
That's great.
It's incredible.
That's what's so exciting about this deep dive. We're not just learning about ancient concepts.
Right.
We're discovering practical tools that we can use to enhance our lives today.
So what's the next step? Where do we go from here?
That's where your own curiosity comes in.
Okay.
The Yellow Emperor's Classic is an incredible starting point. But there's a whole world of resources out there to explore.
Mm-hmm.
You could research the meridian system in more depth,
Mm-hmm.
experiment with different breathing exercises, or even look into practices like Tai Chi or Qigong, which are specifically designed to cultivate and balance Qi-Tep.
This is just the beginning of an amazing journey of self-discovery. And the best part is, it's accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
You don't need any special equipment or fancy training.
Right.
Just a willingness to tune in and listen to your body's wisdom.
Exactly. And remember, this isn't about achieving some perfect state of balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ongoing process of exploration and adjustment.
Yeah.
It's about learning to dance with the ebb and flow of yin and yang within you.
I love that. A dance with our own inner energies. And who knows? Maybe with a little practice, we can all become masters of our own conscious.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
That would be great. All right, so we've been talking about yin and yang on a personal level, but it sounds like these concepts go way beyond just our individual health.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's not just about our internal energy,
Okay.
but recognizing these patterns in the wider world.
That's kind of blowing my mind right now. So how do these principles play out on a larger scale?
Well, think about nature. We see yin and yang in the cycles of day and night, the changing seasons,
Okay.
the ebb and flow of the tides. There's a constant interplay of opposing forces that creates balance and harmony.
That's beautiful. And I'm guessing it applies to human societies too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We can see yin and yang in the balance of power, the interplay of different perspectives and ideas. Even in things like economics, we see cycles of growth and recession, expansion and contraction.
So it's like these universal forces are at work everywhere, from the tiniest cells in our bodies to global systems.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And just like within our bodies, when these forces get out of balance on a larger scale,
Mm-hmm.
we see disharmony.
Oh.
Think about environmental imbalances, social unrest, political polarization.
Wow.
These can all be seen as manifestations of disrupted yin and yang.
Okay, that's a pretty profound thought. So how do we even begin to address these larger scale imbalances?
That's where it gets really interesting. And to be honest, there are no easy answers.
Right.
But I think understanding the principles of yin and yang can give us a framework
Okay.
for approaching these challenges with more awareness and compassion.
So instead of getting stuck in a binary us versus them mentality, we
Mhm.
can start to see the interplay of different forces and perspectives.
Precisely. It's about recognizing that everything is interconnected
Yeah.
and constantly in flux.
Mhm.
And just like in our own bodies, finding that dynamic balance is an ongoing process, not a fixed destination.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've gone from ancient texts to personal energy to global challenges, and it's all connected.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Likewise.
For our listeners, remember, this is just the beginning.
Right.
Take what you've learned today and keep exploring. See how this ancient wisdom can inform your understanding of the world around you.
I'm definitely feeling inspired to learn more. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into yin and yang. Huge thanks to our expert for guiding us through these complex concepts, and to you, our listeners, for joining us on this journey of discovery.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
All right, so we've been talking about yin and yang on like a personal level,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds like these concepts go way beyond just our own health.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's not just about our internal energy,
Oh, wait.
but recognizing these patterns in the wider world.
Whoa, that's kind of blowing my mind right now. So how do these principles play out on like a larger scale?
Well, think about nature. We see yin and yang in the cycles of day and night, the changing seasons.
The ebb and flow of the tides. It's there's a constant interplay of opposing forces that creates balance and harmony.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm guessing it applies to human societies, too.
Absolutely.
Way.
We can see yin and yang in the balance of power, the interplay of different perspectives and ideas, even in things like economics.
Okay.
We see cycles of growth and recession, expansion and contraction.
So it's like these universal forces are at work everywhere, from the tiniest cells in our bodies to, like, global systems.
Exactly. And just like within our bodies, when these forces get out of balance,
Oh.
on a larger scale, we see disharmony.
Oh, no.
Think about environmental imbalances,
Wow.
social unrest, political polarization.
Wow.
These can all be seen as manifestations of disrupted yin and yang.
Okay, that's a pretty profound thought. So how do we even begin to address these, like, larger scale imbalances?
That's where it gets really interesting. And to be honest, there are no easy answers.
Right.
But I think understanding the principles of yin and yang can give us a framework
Okay.
for approaching these challenges with more awareness and compassion.
So instead of getting stuck in that binary, like, us versus them mentality,
Right.
we can start to see the interplay of different forces and perspectives.
Precisely. It's
Yeah.
about recognizing that everything is interconnected
Yeah.
and constantly in flux. And just like in our own bodies, finding that dynamic balance is an ongoing process, not a fixed destination.
This has been an incredible deep dive. We've gone from ancient texts to personal energy to global challenges, and it's all connected.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
The pleasure's all mine. For our listeners, remember, this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Take what you've learned today and keep exploring. See how this ancient wisdom can inform your understanding of the world around you.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into yin and yang. Huge thanks to our expert for guiding us through these complex concepts, and to you, our listeners, for joining us on this journey of discovery.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep diving deep.